So first of all, what we're gonna have to do is we are gonna have to dismantle this whole thing. I have Super Mario Land inside. I'll take this out. And not in the best condition, but it works and it's original. So like it's an authentic cartridge. So that's great. So this is what we're gonna try to replicate essentially. Yeah. This is an atomic purple. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is an atomic purple Game Boy Color, right? Which was the second type of Game Boy made after the original Game Boy. So there was the Game Boy Color, and then the Game Boy Advance. But the thing with Nintendo was that when they got to actually making this, making the Game Boy Advance consoles, they didn't really make an atomic purple version. So aside from the screen, we're also going to try to reshell our Game Boy Advance, like my Game Boy Advance SP, into atomic purple. So yeah, I am going to grab my screwdriver kit, and I'm going to start unscrewing these guys. These are 4-winged. I see a couple of tri-winged screws here as well, so I am going to have to switch between different types of screws, like screwdrivers. There we go. Okay, yeah, so first step here is taking the battery out. We don't want the battery to be connected while we are doing the modding. So there we go. I'll put this aside. I'll put everything to the side over here, everything I don't need. The screw over here doesn't really come off, so I'm not really worried about that. But I will need a separate place to keep my other screws. I think all the other screws here are tri-winged. Are they? Yeah, they do look tri-winged to me. So I'm gonna have to switch my bit. So this is where my... Did he just... Did I by mistake mix things up? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I mixed things up here. Okay, yeah, there we go. This is my tri-winged bit. Just gonna attach this to my screwdriver. We'll get to it. There we go. Comes right off. Can't really focus on this. Okay, for now, I'll keep them right here. I'm pretty sure these are different kinds of screws, so I'm gonna have to be a little careful with everything. This one happens to be a smaller screw, I think. I did open this Game Boy up before, but I didn't really get to mod it back then, so I may have, you know, mixed up the screws, but we'll solve problems as we go. I have 2 small screws and 4 rather long screws. I'll put them aside on this calculator cover. So small screws here, and then my big screws over here. I should really get myself a proper tray for my screws. So now the back should come right off. There we go. If you've never seen the inside of a Game Boy Advance before, Game Boy Advance SP before, here you go. Right. I know this is pretty important. I have one extra with my new parts, my new shell. but I'll keep this one right here just in case. I might actually just have to use the newer screws. But with that said, I'll actually show you all of you my new parts stuff. These are things I ordered from AliExpress. So this is my new shell for my Game Boy Advance. Let me just take it out real quick. So yeah, as you guys can see, this kind of goes with the whole atomic purple theme I'm going for with these guys, right? Basically the same color. Once I put the internals in, it's gonna look exactly like that. But here's the deal. The buttons that come with the kit, with the shell kit, are light gray, which I'm not a huge fan of because they don't exactly look like the old atomic purple Game Boy colors. So what I'm going to do instead is I am actually going to take out these buttons right here from my original Game Boy, and I'm going to use these instead of the new ones that came with the kit. I couldn't really get the shell separate from the buttons, so I guess I have extra buttons now. Right. But yeah, I'm gonna slowly work my way through I don't think I need this piece anymore. I'm gonna work my way through the main board over here. These are plus screws, like the 4 wing screws again. So I'm gonna have to switch out my screw bit once again, which kind of just sucks. Just separate these out. I don't want them to get mixed up or anything. Okay, yeah, so what I've done is I've kept the internals, not the internals, the buttons and the speakers off to the side. I might be using these membranes, I might not at the same time. Let me just look up how the atomic purple Game Boy color membranes look. Yeah, those do look kind of dark to me. So yeah, I might end up using these either way. Doesn't really matter all that much. Okay, so getting back to our motherboard, right? Do we have anything else that we have to dismantle? I do not think so. I think the next step would be to take the hinges out, right? That is my next step, and that is not a step I particularly like, because these hinges are known to be kind of fragile. So I'll just take these out if I can. Right, let me just go look for some tweezers. There should be a couple of tweezers here. Or not. Maybe there are no tweezers here. Okay, this does not smell nice. Probably the glue and the isopropyl alcohol mixing up. I use these. I think this actually came with my parts, with my shell and IPS kit. Here's the deal. I'm not super afraid of damaging these things because I don't plan on using these exact screw covers. Yeah, this should be fine. One of them was already off either way, which is kind of funny. This might not be how I'm supposed to do it, but I don't really care. Just need to get these guys off. Okay, this one came off super easily. Is that a stripped screw in the middle, or is that just glue? Wait a minute. Let me just take a look at this. The one in the middle, that's stripped. Okay, I guess we'll find out once we start unscrewing. If it is, that's a big problem. I hate stripped screws. Also, the screwdriver is pretty flimsy. The reviews on AliExpress were correct. I've seen people ordering like IPS kits, IPS screen and shell kits for their GBASPs on YouTube suggest the same thing. They're all like, hey, don't use the screwdriver they give you. I mean, I haven't really used it to take off any screws, but it just does not seem very useful to me. Why settle for mediocrity when you can settle for, I don't know. This is... Bro, why can't I get this off? Probably gonna edit this into a time lapse in the actual video. Okay, bro, this sucks. This sucks bad. Does this one just not come off? I mean, it should. Considering these were replaced by the original owner. Okay, there we go. That's some progress. The glue here is like really strong. Yeah, I don't know where my tweezers went. That's not good. Should really have a pair of tweezers with me everywhere. You never know when you need them. But I have a safety clip I can use. See if this works. I don't want to impale myself accidentally. There we go. This worked pretty well. This worked really well. Just one swipe and it's out. But yeah, there is a bunch of glue residue inside the screw holes, which I'm not a big fan of. But yeah, let's see. Keep these aside. Let's move on to the next portion of today's build. This is actually a pretty nice ribbon cable. This console is actually from 2003 or 2002. I'm not exactly sure, but it's in pretty good shape. A couple of scratches, sure, but it's 20 years old. You can't really expect anything else unless you want to pay like $1,000 for it. Okay, so I need my tri-wing screws. Yeah, these are tri-wing screws. Do I have my tri-wing bit attached? No, I have my Phillips, my 4-wing attached. Okay, taking everything off now. Let's put these in some other corner. I have my original short screws here, my longer screws over here, the square thingy here, and the internal screws from the motherboard that hold in the motherboard over here. So I'll put these guys right here. I really don't want to mix these up, but then again, they are giving me new screws. The new shell might have different screws. Yeah, if you guys see the videos of people modding their GBASPs online, you're gonna see a lot of people like really dislike, you know, taking the hinges out because they do break. They are very fragile. Like, even if you look at what Nintendo did with the DS and everything after the Game Boy, they break really easily. Like, personally, I had a 3DS growing up, and yeah, the hinges break very easily. Like, my hinges, I did get my 3DS fixed later, but the hinges are just never the same. Personally, I really like the ability to fold this, but yeah, as long as I have like a couple of replacement hinges around, I guess I'm fine. Yeah, doesn't seem like the glue was too big of an issue. I did think this middle one was stripped, but I just wasn't putting enough force into it. Okay, let me see if I can take this off now. Is there another screw? I don't think there is. I love how even with the bottom pretty much gone, it still snaps. Like, Nintendo makes pretty good hinges, it's just they break sometimes. Okay, gotta be careful here. So is it the ribbon cable getting in the way? There we go. Okay, now we get to take the old screen out along with the ribbon cable. Gotta get this out pretty carefully here. I don't want to end up tearing the cable. Be really careful with these things, because again, you don't know when these hinges are gonna turn on you. This is not good. It's not good at all. That's not supposed to be happening. Okay, maybe I should just take the hinges off first. Or maybe I just look this up before I proceed with anything. I don't want to break this. Yeah. Okay, so turns out I happen to be a little bit of an idiot. Turns out there's a screw here that I have not unscrewed. And if only I explored more with things around here, maybe if only I picked this ribbon up, I would have known that there's another screw right here. And it is a 4-wing. Right. Currently have a tri-wing bit. Just swap this up. There we go. And this should make this whole process a lot easier. Should fall off right there. Is the screw out? No, the screw is not out. Right, so gotten something done, but I'm not sure how to proceed here. Okay, I do have access to the first hinge. That is a good sign. Yeah, these are notoriously difficult to take out, so I am not looking forward, to be honest. Okay, so as far as I know, I do want to get the ribbon cable out of the way. I am afraid of, like, I'm not going to be using these after I'm done, but, like, I don't want to damage it either. Because I do want spare parts to use every now and then. I'll unscrew this portion first. There we go. This is this screw, just for the record, I'm putting with the screw covers for no apparent reason. But yeah, I can actually pull the ribbon cable out. That's good, I guess. There we go. Okay. The white part, like the connectors, are out of the shell, which is good. Okay, now it's just a matter of getting the ribbon out of the hinges. Oh, there we go. I did not know. Like, I really did not notice what I did. That's fun. It's like programming. You don't know what you did, but the code works. That's good. So So yeah, this is how you're supposed to like coil up your cable. So we're gonna have to look into all of that once we unbox the other screen. But I'll keep this to the side because we don't need the screen anymore. But yeah, now we move on to the hinges. I love how this still works without anything. Okay, so as far as I know, there is this one YouTube channel where this guy pretty much debunked what exactly goes on with the hinges. And you're basically supposed to keep the hinges in an open position. That apparently helps you take these out. And you basically need something with this sort of width. This is just the end of a pen I have. But yeah, let's go. Let's try this out. So just apply some pressure. It should pop out. So this does seem like it's gonna be harder than I thought it would be. It is currently 12:32 a.m., which is kind of late, but I really want to get this finished by tonight, inshallah. So as you guys can see, there are these plastic tabs. Let me see if I can try zooming in. There are these plastic tabs right here. I gotta make sure they're all inside. I have the pointier end of a pen without the ink cartridge inside. I'm gonna try using this to take those plastic, like push those plastic pins in. Although I don't know if this is gonna be strong enough. Let's see. I do feel something on the other side, but I bet that's just plastic here. Yeah. That is not working. Let me try using the other end of the pen again. I don't want to do that because the keyways here, they need to be lined up. Otherwise, the hinge just kind of breaks and you need a lot of force. Like either it breaks or you need just a whole lot of force to get them out. But yeah, this is not working out. Okay, you know what? I will get to the hinges later. I'm having a bunch of trouble trying to get the hinges out. I'll get to them later. I'll get a couple of other things done first and then get to the hinge. So I'll keep this closed and off to the side. Right. So one thing I kind of forgot to do when disassembling my original GBA was getting rid of the cartridge shield, right? This is where the game cards go in, just like that. Obviously not gonna work now considering it doesn't have the internals, but yeah, I need to get rid of this and I gotta transplant it over here. Doing a little transplant surgery. There we go. That is the shield, the cartridge shield. First of all, let's go ahead and transfer this to the other shell. There you go. I've stored a couple of things inside here, but I guess, oh, never mind, actually. I did not notice that it already had a cartridge shield. Okay, my bad. It's funny, because this whole experiment, this whole ordeal reminds me of the ship of Theseus philosophy, the argument, actually. If you don't know what the ship of Theseus is, there was this ship which belonged to some dude or some place named Theseus, and as time passed, certain parts of the ship would get damaged, right? And they'd be replaced with new parts. But now the thing is, after a certain period of time, basically all of the ship had been replaced with new parts. So is it really the original ship of Theseus? And people have differing opinions regarding this. So yeah. Because there is no clear-cut answer here. It's just... Yep. Okay, I'll keep this aside. I don't really need the top portion of the bottom portion. I'll just screw in the motherboard over here. And then I'll try working on attaching the screen. But that actually goes down here. You know what? Let's just unbox the screen first. I haven't done that. So here's the plastic container with the screen. There we go. Here's the screen. It's got nice foam around it for protection. This came here all the way from China. Let's put this aside. Let's take this out. It's got some teeth over here. AliExpress is actually pretty fast with their shipping. It took 15 days, which isn't too bad. Ordered a couple of more things, like a flash card for the GBA, but that hasn't arrived yet. Okay, this is pretty nice. Handle, fragile, handle with care. I don't know. I can't tell if you can see anything. But yeah, it's got some writing here that I'm going through right now. Also, they've provided extra wires because these do need to be soldered onto the motherboard for brightness controls. Okay, I'll put these back in because I will need them later. Can try taking the film off. Don't really want to at the moment, but whoa, this looks really good, by the way. I don't think the camera is doing much justice to it. I'll keep this on. Got some bubbles over there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try screwing this in. Okay, yeah, so continuing with everything, I'll just test out the screen right now. I have placed the motherboard inside the new shells. I have not swapped out the new buttons for the old ones just yet. I'll do that later. All I'm going to do now is test. And to do that, all I am going to have to do is attach the battery, close the battery, and just wish for the best. Okay. And I'm obviously going to have to attach the screen. Otherwise, this just isn't going to work. This will need a little bit of finessing. Okay, look like they're in. Probably shouldn't be touching the connections here. Yeah, no. Okay, that's the first side. There we go, I think we're in. There we go. Got it all connected. What we're gonna do is we're gonna connect the battery now, just to try things out. Okay. All it has to do is turn on and display the Game Boy Advance opening. Yo! already. Wait. Okay, I think the battery disconnects pretty easily. I'm gonna turn this off. This should be off. What I'm gonna also do is I am going to connect the speaker so that I can hear the actual intro. It's not gonna be super loud, unfortunately, as much as I wanna hear the intro, but it'll be something, I guess. I did get myself the USB-C mod for this, but I am not. I'll do that sometime in the future. Take the speaker. I love the speaker, it's like magnetic. I'll turn it on. Yo, this is genuinely awesome. Like, if you compare it to this screen, I'll try attaching this screen in a little bit, but if you compare it to that screen, it's like a day and night difference. I'll turn it on again, turn it off, turn it on. Okay, I do not hear a thing. That is not a good sign. I don't hear a thing. I don't know what's wrong with the sound, though. The sound shouldn't be affected by anything here. But yeah. Actually, I can just screw this in. This section over here. I can just screw this in. Just got to figure out what sort of screws I need. The ribbon's going to go up here, so I don't really need anything down there. But I do need to make sure a couple of things that I place are in the correct positions. So I'll use the new parts for this. Okay, take everything out. It's just the stupid hinges. If I managed to take the hinges out, I'd be done right now. But I don't want to break the hinges. I do have spare hinges here, but I don't feel like using them because I do want to use the original factory Nintendo hinges. Speaking of Nintendo, I do love how these guys have their own Nintendo sticker, even though they're literally not Nintendo. Okay, place this here. Oh, actually, I do want to switch out the triggers. These are kind of hard to take out because they are spring-loaded. Okay, I'll place this here. And I'll actually bring this here just so that I can take these out. Place this over here. Let's try this out. Okay, yeah, no, there's definitely something up here. Okay, yeah, I should definitely just try using the other one. Because, yeah. Because I'm not 100% sure whether these fit. Try this out. I'll try it out though. Okay. Take this one. I have zero clue what's going on here. This is not going well. Okay. I think I've placed the trigger in the proper place. Just gotta wind up the spring over here. Okay, let's hope this works. Nope, it's out again. That is not good. Okay, now the rod thingy's out as well, which is even worse. Okay, something definitely just fell. Okay, it's this. Yeah, I'm just gonna switch out the rods. I don't think this rod, like the rod for the original factory Nintendo one, I don't think it works with the one here. Okay. This seems all right now. It just doesn't feel very nice. Yeah, now it's just stuck. Let me try putting the motherboard over this. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah, now they feel the same. Because the motherboard helps when it comes to like holding it in place. But yeah, one down, one more to go. Yeah, no, that's the thing. This one feels a lot more springier. Try on this one. Same goes for this one. It's just probably just how I attached the spring itself. That's the issue. Okay, let's figure this out. Let's figure out what I keep doing wrong here. Should I just try this out with the other spring? I think I should. If this spring belongs here. Ow. Okay, it's connected. Let's see if it works. Still no. I don't get what I keep doing wrong here. I should take a better look at the spring on this side and the spring here. They both just feel so much better. Okay, so I have just decided to go on with this because once I put the motherboard in, it does click properly, right? So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna go ahead and replace the trigger for the left side. And while I do that, I also want to fix the trigger here. Can't find the rod. The trigger is here. Can't remember where I placed the rod. Small rod. Put these on here. Just gonna look for the rod. This should be here. Just clean things up a little bit. I seriously can't remember where I placed the rod. It's not here. Oh, there we go. Found it. It's right there. Also, I really should pick this Nintendo logo up, place it here, because I don't want to lose it. This should be here. This one seems to be doing pretty well here. That's kind of funny. Like the fact this one is all springy over here, but this one's just kind of stuck here. It's probably just how the old Nintendo factory triggers were designed. I'll take this one off, and I'll take this one off here. Go ahead and attach this one here first. There we go. There we go. These guys are all fixed up. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and fix these ones here. Oh, whoops. This one just came off. Okay, let me just try place at the motherboard here. Let's see how it compares now. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. It's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, so what I gotta do now is I actually need to figure out where each of the screws go. Right. So I know what this is gonna be. Just gonna get this one sorted out first. This is where the battery goes. Just like that. Let me just quickly go ahead and place the battery cover here, battery door. Where's the battery door? It's all the way here. Oh, it's right here. You know, you really don't know what transparent stuff. There we go, the battery is all screwed on. I do want to upgrade to a better battery later down the line, but this is all I have at the moment. Oh, and it isn't even attached properly. That's funny. It's getting pretty late at night. I'm getting tired. It's like 2 a.m. It's like 2 a.m. right now. It's 2:25. Okay, the cube, the square just fell. Put this back in. Okay, back to square one, essentially. Essentially just have to force it in. There we go. Keep one finger on the square while I turn this around. Okay, no, the battery doesn't fit when it's like that. And the triggers back off. Amazing. Okay. One problem at a time. I'll fix the battery door first and then get to everything else. Surprisingly enough, it was the left trigger that came off this time. The left trigger I literally just attached. Okay, trigger back on. What is this? Oh, this is where the hinges go. Why is this out here? Should be somewhere here. I keep finding random stuff. That's not good at all. I should not be finding random stuff. There we go. This should work, but I'm just gonna have to stretch the other end of the spring here. Yeah. There you go. It's funny how you have to work from down to up when you're dismantling the thing, but you have to work from up to down when you're reassembling. So everything's essentially in reverse. Do say the word essentially quite a bit. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But yeah, I feel the heft of the battery right now. Okay, the slider's on. What I'm gonna do is I have the lighter power switch here. Just place it down inside the old, oh, that's the wrong way. And that's the wrong way again. There we go. That's the right way. I have the old power slider here. I'll put this in right now. Okay, you know what? I'll take this out again. Put the power slider in. Just make sure it moves properly. Yeah, it seems to move properly. It's at the closed position right now. Yeah, this should turn it on and off. Okay, now it's just a matter of screwing everything in. So as far as I remember, there were... Okay. There are parts of the motherboard that have to be connected to this side, right? Because we opened it up when it was upside down like this. So yeah. I don't think you're supposed to screw it this way though. What am I missing? Wait. Right, so if you guys remember, we had a couple of screws here. We had the 3 screws here. We had one here, and one... Yeah, I don't think you guys... Hello, everybody. I am back. It is currently the next day, or the next night, to be more precise. It's like... Wait, let me just check the time. It is 7:59 p.m. I do have a class in 30 minutes, so let's hope I can get this done by then. But yeah, so basically a little bit of a progress update. I was messing around with the hinges, which was again my biggest problem last night, and I found this pen. It's quite a bit thinner than my other pen. It's slightly thinner than my other pen, but it fits the diameter of the hinges a lot better. So I was just messing around and I managed to get the hinges out. You can tell the white part is now inside the hinge hole. There's a little bit of the hinge protruding out, if you can see that. So yeah, I'd say that's progress. I'll just try doing it again. I pushed the hinge back in just for demonstration's sake. I'll go ahead and do it again. Just all I gotta do is push. I might have to stand up for this. Okay. Trust me guys, this literally worked like 5 minutes ago. I don't know what there we go. There we go, just popped out. So all I have to do now is push it out with my screwdriver right here. So bismillahirrahmanirrahim. There we go. And it's out. There we go. That's our hinge that I've been trying to get out since last night. That's our hinge, guys. We did it. So this is the right hinge. You can tell because it has a white bottom part. Once you place it like this, the bottom here is white. Let me just try getting the other hinge out, then I can show you the difference here. This one should be a lot simpler. All I have to do is push it out, I think. Just pull this out. Or no, never mind. But yeah, so basically, if you can see, you don't really see any sort of white teeth on the hinges here, even though the hinges are literally right here. Yeah, let me just close it so you guys can see better. The teeth over here, like the bottom section of these hinges, the left hinges are black. So an easy way to remember is white is right, black is left. It's because white and right rhyme. It's like lefty loosey, righty tighty. Getting this one out is a little bit more difficult from what I've heard, but all I've seen people do is keep the top section of the GBA, like keep the GBA in an open position and just pull, but I'm a little bit too scared to do that. I really don't want to break the hinges. And the reason why we keep it in the top, in the open position, is because there are little like notches inside, and they gotta be aligned. If they're misaligned, when you take the hinge out, the hinges break, which is not good. I don't think it's gonna be pretty hard to like actually see the notches considering it's dark. But yeah, that's what happens. So what I'll do now is I'll actually try pulling this apart. If that doesn't work, I'll try to get in with the pen again. Okay, one thing I'll try doing is, I don't think it's as big of an issue if I push it with the pen in the closed position. It's just the final part that has to be done with the hinge in its open position. Get up for this one as well. Let's see if this works. Having put in a lot of force, a lot of excessive force. Okay. Oh, there we go. I just pulled it apart. Never mind, guys. It was that easy. Just needed the confidence. But now the issue is, I don't think it's... Okay, yeah, it should be in its open position. And there we go. That's our second hinge. So we are officially done with dismantling our GBA. So now we can finally get started with reassembling the whole thing. Finally. It only took 12 hours. I mean, not uninterrupted with breaks, but did take quite a lot of time. So I'll put these off to the side because I do not need them anymore. I'll figure out something nice to do with these old GBA parts. The reason I can't really use these parts with the new screen is because the screen over here, it's actually it doesn't really properly fit here with the plastic. It does not fit well with the plastic, so I gotta use these screens instead. These shells instead. I mean, you can sand these guys to make it so that these bigger screens fit, but I really don't want to do that. Plus, I really want something that's aesthetically pleasing. Also, as it turns out, these silicone membranes, these glow in the dark. I was thinking of having these serve as my membranes, like my original membranes serve as my new membranes, but since these guys glow in the dark, I will just use these instead, because that's just a lot cooler. Okay, so here are my hinges, and as we discussed, white is right and black is left. So I'll keep these here while I start assembling the rest of the GBA. So for the first time ever, I'm bringing all of my new shell, all 3 parts of my new shell, all 4 parts actually, all 4 parts of my new shell to the center of my desk. So yeah, I guess we can get started with assembling. Here's my screen. Okay, so the first part of the reshelling that I'm gonna have to do is change up the buttons here. As I mentioned before, I do not want to use these lighter buttons because they don't really look like the original Atomic Purple Game Boy. So I'm gonna take these out and I'm gonna replace them with the older, like my old gray buttons. And the reason I have to do this first is everything I'm gonna do now, if you guys remember how I dismantled the original GBA, how I had to go from bottom up, I'm having to go in reverse now. So I'm gonna have to layer everything on this part, this shell, this part of the shell, which is the topmost part of the bottommost part, bottom half. It is the topmost part of the bottom half of the GBA. So I'm having to go exactly the reverse of what I did when I dismantled this. Okay, taking the buttons out because I don't plan on using them. I'm gonna use these silicon membranes, as I explained earlier, because they are glow in the dark, and that is very cool. Like, I personally don't think the lighter buttons go well with the shell. I do like a bit of contrast when it comes to these things. Yeah. Oh no, I don't wanna... Yep. Okay, so now we get started with actually placing the buttons inside. Let's turn this around. So first of all, we have our D-pad, right? There goes the membrane. I think the membrane for the D-pad actually has to hook onto this little plastic bit right here. There we go. That's the D-pad. Doesn't look too bad. That rhymed. Unintentionally, by the way. Okay, so now we go ahead with the brightness button. This thing's hilariously small. Very easy to lose. And that's the only one, yeah, so, and the brightness button here is the only one with a single, okay, color darkening. I don't remember what I was gonna say. Okay, there we go. Let's check things. These guys fall out really easily, so I'm having to put in a lot of extra effort holding them in. Yeah, this looks good. Just not bad at all. Okay, so let's do the A and B buttons now. I love how the A and B, like the prongs, if you guys can see, the prongs in the A and B buttons are oriented differently. These guys, there are 3 prongs on this one, but they're all at like a 90-degree angle, and the ones here are at more of like a 60-degree angle. So it's really hard to mess them up. It's really easy to tell, even if you're looking from behind, which one's the A button and which one's is the B button. And like, when you're placing them in, it's very hard to mess up as well. It's very hard to misalign them, because it's pretty clear where exactly these prongs go. Even with the 60-degree ones where everything's identical, everything probably should look identical, the prong in the bottom is thicker than the other 2 prongs. And the slot here in the bottom is thicker as well. So there we go. And this one gets the bigger of the 2 membranes. kind of scared. I really don't want to... Okay, I'll hold these in and flip. There we go. I'm going to do this with every set of buttons I add. Just because the buttons are so cool. I really like seeing how much progress I'm making. These ones are a little harder though. These are the start and select buttons, but they are just identical. So I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue if I mix them up. Okay. So let's place the membrane. There we go. That's our faceplate for the controllers. For the controls. Okay. Step 2 would be placing the motherboard. This is a part I'm not too excited for. And it goes in like this. Right? Okay, so before I place in the motherboard, I'm gonna have to attach the screen. Because the ribbon cable goes in here, and I need to make sure the ribbon is connected before I screw this in. So yeah, my buttons are ready. That's good. I'll organize the buttons and then I'll get to attaching the screen. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place this cardboard sheet. So now that the buttons are placed, one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this card sheet, this card that was provided with the kit inside, just to make sure that the buttons don't fall out. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do now is I'm actually gonna have to like attach the hinges, which is a part I'm not looking forward to. Anything that has to do with hinges, I do not want to do. Yeah, this doesn't look too bad. Let's keep it like this for the moment while I change out the hinge caps. I do have extra hinge caps here that fit the whole aesthetic of the new kit a lot better, the new shell a lot better. So yeah, you should come off with a little bit of pressure. There we go. That's the first one. Keep this aside. That's the second one. Okay. These should be identical, so I don't think there's any sort of issue. Okay, wait, what slide do they slide in at? Oh, there we go, that's the side. Okay, no, this is not working. Okay, there we go. Or no, that's not it. Okay, let me try figuring out what's wrong here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I'm just an idiot. I found the little notch up here, and you're supposed to attach these from the opposite end to the notch of the notch, like the end opposite to the notch. What I've been doing is, yeah, there we go, opposite end. I've been trying to attach it through the notch, which is not something I'm supposed to do. So here we go. This is our left hinge. I'll just get the right hinge ready. Sorry, this is our right hinge. I'll get the left hinge ready. Same concept here. Find the notch. Found the notch. I think it's right here. And attach the cap. Yeah, no, I'm doing something wrong here. Yeah, and there we go. Our hinge has been capped. No cap. Okay, so what we do now is we push the hinges in. We got to make sure that they're properly aligned. So you can see the notches inside as well. They got to be aligned, right? It's really difficult to show you guys the notches from my point of view, even though I'm trying to record everything from my point of view. But the camera is on my chest right now, so it's not really a good representation of what my eyes are seeing. Okay, I think I've gotten them aligned. Let's try this out. No, they're not aligned. You don't want to brute force anything here. You don't want to break anything. Yeah, I'll have to push this one out again. I'm guessing it's misaligned again, which is usually not a good sign. Just push this out. There we go. Okay, I'll try figuring out what's going wrong here. Okay, so yes, the GBA, like the hinges, the notches inside the hinge slots, should be aligned in this position. So I'm going to try this whole thing out again, and inshallah it will work this time. Let's ensure our hinges are in the correct position as well. Okay, there we go. The first part is in. Let's push. Okay. Not quite there yet. So let's push this back out. Okay, this should be okay. Let's go again. Okay, not yet either. I don't get why this isn't working. There we go. Finally. Okay, should be closing properly now. There we go. Opening up, and yeah. There we go. So now it's only a matter of attaching the other hinge, the second hinge. Where did the second hinge go? There we go. So now that it's properly aligned, I know what position is correct and what's not. There we go. Our hinges are now properly connected. Right, I gotta push this one in a little bit more. There we go. We're finally done with dealing with our hinges. We've got a nice click to them as well. So yeah, we're done. Okay, so it is 1:21 a.m. right now. It's pretty late. So yeah. Ako number screen to add ko rin po, because that's how we proceed with this whole thing. Yeah. We're gonna place the whole thing upside down like this, essentially. And then we're gonna try placing in the screen. There you go. The protector is off. Not 100% sure. Yeah, these are the adhesive. These are glued on. So if I take these out, I'm not 100% sure where I glue this to, where I'm supposed to glue this to. But yeah, these are sticky. Okay. I'm having a hard time peeling this one off. Okay, the last one's right over here. Okay. So we got all 4 pieces out. And our screen has been placed. Then again, I do not know if I'm supposed to stick it to something. I'm gonna have to check that out. But yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm holding the screen in place with my fingers right now, but I am guessing things will look better once I put the top part of the top shell on. Oh yes, right here. Oh yeah, one other thing I'm actually supposed to do is I'm supposed to coil this ribbon cable up. Because otherwise, it's gonna have a bunch of problems going down into the hinge over here. Yeah, through this slot right here. Okay, 1 second. Okay, yes. So what I'm supposed to do now is I'm supposed to coil up the ribbon cable, just like so, and I have to feed it through this tiny hole. If you guys can see this tiny sort of slit down here. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge, but inshallah, we will be able to succeed. Oops. I just kind of knocked the, yeah, this is not going well. Let me just restart this part again. Yes, so I took the buttons out just so that they don't fall off again. I'll put them in once I've attached the screen. But yeah, turns out what I was doing wrong is I was looping the screen the wrong way around. So yeah, it should first bend from front to back and then from back to front. This is how it should be. What I was doing is bending it back to back to front, and then yeah, it required 3 loops that way. So I kind of had one job and I messed up. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna try doing right now. Try fixing this up. Does not need to be open right now. So back to front, just like this, and yeah, should be okay. All I have to do now is fit the connector through the slit. There we go. Now, what we gotta ensure is that the fold here, the loop here, is in the hinge portion over here. What that does is it ensures that the wiring isn't like moved much. Yeah. It basically ensures the wires aren't like the ribbon cable here isn't like stretched out much. So yeah. What I'll do now is I will actually screw the lid of the top portion of the Game Boy. Actually, I'll put in the hinge part here as well. It's going to help out quite a bit. Just keeping everything stable. There we go. So all I have to do now is screw all of this in. So, bismillah. I'll start off with the top portion of the screen. This requires the longer tri-wing screws. Sorry, the shorter tri-wing screws, my bad. Let's take a look. Oops. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to be listing down what exact screws I need for what exact portion, because I do think I've messed up there. But from what I can tell now, I am missing a couple of screws in the head. So, first of all, we have the tri-wings, right? There are 2 short tri-wing. I'll zoom in. Okay, 2 short tri-wing screws. These are gonna go on the exterior, where the yeah, so they're gonna be in the exterior, but There are a bunch of screw holes in the exterior, so they're going to go where the battery is and the game card, right? So battery slash game compartments. Right. So, and there are 4 I have to place around the battery and game compartments. So 4 long tri-wing screws. These are gonna be, I'll just write the bottom bracket exterior, this bracket. Right, so I'll list down everything else and then start recording again. Okay, so I am done with writing everything down. I need 2 short tri-wing screws for the battery and game compartments, 4 long tri-wing screws for the bottom over here. I need 3 gold Phillips head screws that I've got here that hold in the motherboard, and I need 5 short tri-wings for the area around the screen, and 1 long Phillips head screw for the hinge cover that goes right here. So if my calculations are right, I am not missing any screw other than the hinge cover screw, the long Phillips head. So everything else was included in the kit. So I'm not missing any other screws other than the ones missing in my head. Right, so good news is so bad news is they didn't really give me the long Phillips head screw along with the shell kit, but I did keep the one from my old shell separate. There we go. This is the only longer Phillips head screw that I have. So I'll put these among the ones that I'll be using to reassemble the entire thing. And as for why I'm not using the screws from the original shell, they are kind of rusted. So I don't think they're at their most durable state at the moment, right? And we do want that longevity. So yeah, I'll go back to screwing these guys in. So, okay, so we start off with the tri-wings. Or yeah, I do have the Phillips head bit attached. So instead of starting off with the tri-wings, let's just get started with the hinge cover. Let's align this. Seems aligned enough. Okay, no, never mind. I'll actually go ahead with the screen first because it feels like it's gonna fall off any moment. So I'll just switch out the screw bits. There we go. I'll grab one of the smaller tri-wing screws. I'll start screwing them in. Oh, this bit might be a bit too small. I just said bit twice. There we go. This should be better. Give me 1 second. Are these misaligned by any chance? Okay. This is not good. Close this up. We'll open up the back. Wait, are these not threaded? I don't think they are. Okay, so I'm gonna have to exert more force into the screw while I'm screwing. That's amazing. I thought these came pre-threaded. Gonna have to clean the screen up pretty well after this. I'm leaving a lot of fingerprints behind. Okay, this looks pretty good. I'm gonna have to unscrew a little bit. Feels a bit too tight. Okay, just leave it there. Okay, screw number 2. Okay, so I am down to the last screw now, like the last screw for the screen, and honestly speaking, I'm not having a good time. Sometimes my screwdriver just slips, and I'm afraid, I'm always scared because of the thought it's gonna be hitting the screen. Because of the thought, yeah, sometimes when I'm screwing, it's just slips, my screwdriver just slips, and I'm always scared of the thought that it might just hit the screen. Brand new screen, straight from AliExpress. Not sponsored, guys. I don't want to ruin these screws either, because quite frankly, I don't like the fact I'm having to, like, create the threads for these screws as well. Yeah, I think they're in place now. They sure feel like they're in place. I don't see this coming off anytime soon. Okay, you know what? I'll loosen them just a little bit, just so that they don't cause problems later down the line. But I don't want this to feel cheap. Like, I don't want this to feel like it's gonna open up anytime soon. Like this part, when I put some pressure, like some force over here. Okay, there's a plane outside. Okay, so this part, when I'm putting some force, it kind of moves. So I don't think the screws are tight enough. Yeah, but this honestly doesn't feel bad at all. Not bad at all. Yeah, if these guys are still loose, I'll go in and fix them up later. I'll go ahead and add the hinge cover now. There we go. And I'm supposed to screw this one from the bottom. So glad the screen doesn't open up. Okay, I'm just gonna hold the ribbon in place while I add in the screw. I'm gonna have to change bits. Right, there we go. We're using the Phillips bit now and the Phillips head screw. I'm gonna have to thread this one in as well, which if I haven't made clear enough, which I don't like doing. And the thing is, the hinge cover is harder to keep in place as well, so I'm not enjoying this at all. Okay, there we go. Got the top half attached. There we go, we can close it with the hinge as well. Okay, yeah, this top part does feel a little flimsy. I'll have to see what's causing that. That is not a good sign. Okay, so now that the top part of the Game Boy has been completed, we move on to the part of the build where I have to take out my soldering iron. It's the one right there. This is a part that's a little tricky. I have to connect my ribbon cable, and if you guys can see, there is a solder point there, but if you guys can see properly, there's two solder points. There are two solder points, and I don't know why that's the case. They've included two wires along with the screen as well, but as far as I know, as far as the research I've done, there shouldn't be two wires. There shouldn't be two solder points. So what I'll do is I'll play it safe. I'll only connect one because that's how it's supposed to be. Maybe the other one's just an extra. So right now we're not gonna have to open. Oh yeah, by the way, the hinges properly work with everything that's here, which is great. But for now, now that we are nearing the end of the build, we are not gonna have to open the hinges again until we're done. So firstly, what I'm gonna do is I am going to heat up my soldering iron. I gotta heat up things. Okay, my iron is still heating up. It's gonna take another 2 minutes perhaps. I have my wire out. It's very thin, which makes this even harder. So yeah, I'll be back once the iron is ready. Here's my solder, here's my flux, all open. All I gotta do is wait for the iron to heat up. Okay, so what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be connecting one end of this wire to the ribbon cable. You can see the two spots right there. This is where the wire goes, and there is a pin over here. I don't know if you can see it very easily, but it says Q12B. That is where our other end is gonna go. Okay, so now that I think of it, it might be a good idea to connect the ribbon before we solder the wire in. because just to keep things simple. Sorry, just to keep things stable. Okay, so just to keep things stable, we're gonna connect the ribbon into the motherboard. I don't want to fumble this up in any way. Yeah, this is a lot harder now that everything's attached, because I've been testing this out with just a screen on the motherboard. It went a lot better when I tried attaching it like that. Okay, so I've managed to get some of the ribbon in. Unfortunately, the camera is not really doing a great job at picking this up, so I'd prefer to just do this off screen. Okay, our ribbon cable is now properly secured. As you guys can see, I have some additional lights here, so that when I do go ahead and solder in the cable, you guys can have a better view of what's going on the board. I have a little stand, a pen stand I kept behind the GBASP so that I have a better angle to work with. So yeah. Okay, yeah, so I think it's a good time to get started with the whole soldering process. I'm gonna grab my solder over here. Grab my soldering iron, heat up the pin slightly so that I can transfer things easier. Let me try another angle. Okay, yeah, this should be a far better angle to work with. Let's go ahead. There we go. Got a bit of solder on the pin. Let's try the same thing with the other pin right here. Q12B. Okay, that didn't do much. There we go. We got solder on Q12B as well. Now we're going to go ahead and we are going to attempt attaching the wire. This shouldn't be too hard. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, got the first end of the wire attached. I can tell I'm not doing a very good job at recording this, but I don't know how else to do this. We can go ahead with the second portion over here. It might be blocking the light just a little bit. This is optional, but it does help out quite a bit. And there we go. It is attached. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take off a little bit of tape. Yeah, these are attached pretty tightly. Although I feel like I've soldered on a bit too much on this end. Let's see. The solution to all your confusions is testing things out. So yeah, I'm gonna turn this light off. I don't think we need this anymore. And I'm gonna get myself some tape. Just gonna tape this off to the side, just so that we don't accidentally change anything. Okay, so I've got myself a pair of scissors. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna actually reroute this guy, this wire, and I'm gonna tape it off somewhere. You know what? I don't think I really need to tape it off. I think it's fine the way it is. But yeah, I might need a little bit of tape. So let's go ahead and find the end of the tape. Pretty easy to lose with your tape. There we go. Okay, only a little bit. You know what, I'll try this out without the tape first, because I don't really see any points where I can attach the tape without it interfering with something else. So yeah, I think we are ready to start screwing stuff in. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I am going to fold this closed, and I am going to take my motherboard out, and I am going to place my buttons, since my buttons fell out last time. So there goes the D-pad. I think we've already discussed this. D-pad goes here. The prongs on the A and B buttons signify where they're supposed to go. So the bigger prong goes down. There we go. Same goes for the B button right here. Just a matter of aligning everything right now. There we go. These guys don't really matter, like start and select. So what the soldering really did is it helped us, so basically the screen that we got, it's the high-speed IDO V5 screen. It has a menu that allows you to select between a bunch of different modes, like color modes, pixel modes, whatever, and it usually uses a touch sensor that's on the screen, but as you guys can pretty much see, the screen does attract a lot of fingerprints, which really isn't great. So what the wire allows you to do is just use the brightness button on the Game Boy Advance to control everything yourself. Also, I just noticed the trigger came off. I'll look into this later. Okay. Now that we have the buttons attached, it's time to get the speaker on. Go ahead and see if the buttons are properly attached. Let me just place the motherboard right in. Let's open this up. Got our A button, our B button. Yep, these look good. All right, this is actually looking pretty good right now. Okay. So what I'll do now is I will first go ahead and fix the triggers over here. Then I'll start screwing everything else in. These triggers are a bit problematic. I hope they don't pop out after I attach everything, because that will be a bit of a nightmare. Okay, so the rod thingy goes in first. Then the spring. You have to pull the rod further down. That's not easy. Then we just push the rod up. There we go. And the rod is out again. Okay. Whoops. There we go, we're back in. It's just a matter of pulling the screen, pulling the spring out. Okay, now that the triggers are all wound up, they're fixed, we can continue with the rest of the build. Right, my volume slider fell out. No, it did not. Never mind, it's right here. My power slider is right here, my volume slider is right here. I do not need to worry about that anymore. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to start screwing in the motherboard screws, which are the, as you guys can see, the 3 gold Phillips head screws. So let's just switch to our Phillips head bit. Is this our Phillips head bit? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, this is our Phillips head bit. So there goes our first of the 3 Phillips head bits. This one's a slightly longer one. Even though I'm still having to thread in the screws into the case itself, the Phillips head screws are a lot easier to thread with because they are easier to grip with the screwdriver. Because again, they have 4 wings as opposed to the tri-wing screws. So I'm not having as bad of a time as I did with the tri-wing screws. Okay, this doesn't look bad, not bad at all. The motherboard is now attached, which is great. So now it's time to add in everything else, like the bottom part of the shell. And after we're done with that, I think we're done. Phew, it's been a long journey. Am I missing anything here? Are the screws all screwed in? They should be. I have actually gotten myself one of these USB-C mods, but as you guys did see, I'm not very experienced with soldering, and I really don't want to ruin this over here. I don't want to ruin the motherboard at any capacity. But yeah, that is something I'm planning to do sometime in the future. Inshallah. Okay, so we've got our bottom portion over here. Is there anything I'm missing? I feel like I'm missing something. I constantly feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, this isn't going in very well. Is it because of the triggers? Yeah, I think it's because of the triggers. Ugh. These triggers are probably the most problematic thing I've faced. Yeah, they both just popped out together. That is not great. them up. Okay. Should be fine now. Okay, this one still feels like it's gonna pop out. This one is is it still popping out? Doesn't feel like it. This one doesn't either. This one's a bit more rigid. Might be something going wrong here, but we'll know when we know. Oh, I'll actually close this up. There we go, and it's flush. Fits right in. So I don't think we'll have any issues with that. Okay, the buttons feel okay. Yeah. We are now in the final steps of this build. We just have a couple of more screws left and we should be done. So as you guys remember, the smaller tri-wing screws, I'm gonna have to switch out my bit. Yeah, so the smaller tri-wing screws go into the battery and game compartments, which is actually the first thing we listed in the text file. Oh, I do think I missed something. Yeah, this is what I missed. You guys remember the little square from the little square that we had to attach when we tried to attach the battery? That's what we missed. So what I'm gonna do is, this is actually a Phillips head. So I'm gonna get a Phillips head, place it here, while I try to unscrew the square with my bare hands. What the screwdriver is doing is holding it in place so that I can screw this out freely. Okay, so this, if I remember correctly, goes here, right above the part that reads the game. What we can do alternatively is we can place it here inside the bottom part of the shell, and then we place the rest of the Game Boy on top of it. I think that actually works better. Just keeps it aligned. Okay, and there we go, it's flush. Both sides are flush with each other. That's very good. And now we can finally get to screwing in the bottom, which is actually the first step we did when we dismantled the GBA. So, yeah. It's funny how life comes around. Oh, this is the wrong thing. Yeah, my bit goes here. My bad, guys. I was using this to try getting the hinges out earlier today, but found the pen I ended up using later down the line. Oh, this is the tri-wing again. Oh yeah, I do need the tri-wing. Never mind. I'm pretty sure the only Phillips head we need to use now is the one for the battery. This one's hard to get aligned. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to thread this in as well. There we go. Okay. Oh no, I actually don't. Right, because this goes directly into the motherboard. I don't have to thread much. Okay. So the other one, the one that goes into the game compartment, it's right here. This is really cool. I can actually get to see the games because this is a transparent case. I can actually see the labels on the games. I find it funny how after everything I just did, my biggest problem is still the screws. Ow. Okay, yeah, this one I had to thread into the... Okay, so last couple of screws for the video. We have our long tri-wings. These go on into the bottom of the GBA. I'm gonna make sure I put down a lot of force here because I want to make sure they're properly attached, like the two sides. The two plastic portions of the shell are properly attached. Yeah, I do see a little bit of flex there. That's not good. Yeah, it will get better as we go on. Inshallah. Might have to loosen these up a little bit down the line, later down the line, but for now these do seem to be good enough. Okay, so I haven't really put enough force on this side. Things are a little weak. Yeah, so things are a little bit loose on this side. I haven't really attached, like I haven't really put enough force down over here. So that's what I'm doing right now. I am unscrewing and rescrewing the screws on this side. Okay. Yeah. Okay, no, I can still feel. That is not good. That is not good at all. I think I'm pressing a button here. What's this happening? This is not supposed to happen, guys. Not at all. I should probably get myself a stronger screwdriver later down the line. Yeah, this part's attached pretty well. I don't know what's happening here. It's still moving around. Okay, I'll open this side up again and then try re-screwing. Yeah, I think this is an issue I'm having with both sides, really. Because this side is flexing slightly as well. So I'm gonna have to screw this in further. Okay, let's get this back. Push down pretty hard and screw. Okay, it is better now. Just gonna have to screw this in a little bit more. Yeah, it's getting better, getting much better. Yeah, I think we're done. Yeah, if I press here, it's not flexing anymore. Okay, so we have two more things left, two little things. Firstly is attaching the battery. And to do that, it's pretty simple. I do want to upgrade to a better battery later down the line. I tried ordering another battery through AliExpress, but they did not have batteries with a higher capacity than the ones they give, like the original ones they give with the GBA. So either I get a battery that's equal to this in terms of capacity, or I get a battery that is worse, which I don't really see the use of getting. Okay, this screw over here is interfering with how the battery fits in. So that's not good. So let's try again. Yeah, I think it's connected pretty well. Okay, but it is moving around. That is not good. I don't really know why that's happening. Maybe there's just a bunch of free space here. Yeah, that is the right orientation. Yeah, let's just try attaching this. We're gonna have to switch out bits again. There goes my tri-wing. There goes my Phillips head. I don't know why this is still out. Okay, so my forewing, my Phillips head. All I gotta do now is close the battery door. I've got the cube, I've got the square on the other side, so it should be working pretty well now. And I can't screw anymore. There we go, guys. That's it. That is our GBASB. It's off now. Let's try turning it on. Full volume. Yo. That is amazing. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but that looks really good. Doesn't sound great. I'll try upgrading the speaker later down the line, but that sounds very good. Like, that looks very good. Yo. I don't know if the camera is doing a good job at capturing this, but like, this is a proper screen. If we compare this to how the GBA looked before we tried modding it, it's gonna be a day and night difference. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do now? We actually have one more step left, and that is to attach the sticker to make it official. So this is Nintendo's original sticker. What we're gonna do is we have been provided with another one of these stickers with the screen. So we are gonna be placing the sticker down. Actually, I might do that later, considering if I do attach the sticker here right now, I won't be able to see the games I put in, which is one thing I was pretty excited for. Same goes for the screw covers over here. I don't think I really want to put in any screw covers. So yeah, I like the kind of industrial look, but the screw covers, the white ones actually, these ones, they're glow in the dark just like the silicone membranes over here. So I'll think about it. So for now, let's go ahead and test out the Mario game. We started this whole thing off by showing you guys. And let's go. We're gonna see the original Game Boy intro now. Yo. This is so much clearer. Let's try the OSD. Okay. I can tell the brightness is changing. Yeah, the brightness is changing quite drastically. So the soldering did work out at the end. That's good. If I hold this for a couple of seconds, I should get the OSD menu. There we go. Okay, over here I can select brightness, the A button. Do I have to press here? Wait a minute, let's try this again. Oh, with this button itself, okay. So let's try brightness 13, 14, 15, and back to 1. Set our brightness to around 9. How do we move to the other modes? Gonna have to look this up. Okay, so I have cleaned my desk up for the last portion of the video. All I'm gonna do now is add some finishing touches. I have the sticker here, the sticker that goes here, but I don't think I am gonna attach the sticker just because I do like how you can see the game through the plastic, which I find really nice. So I'm just not gonna add the sticker. It looks less authentic this way, but I like it this way. And the actual last part here is gonna be adding the Nintendo logo to my build. They did provide a kit, but they did provide a Nintendo logo with the IPS kit. There we go. Which I now have to stick on the Game Boy Advance. I did mess around with the new display, the new options I got, but yeah. I'll show you guys the new options, the new color options in just a little bit. Okay, I've managed to successfully peel the sticker off. Let's make sure this is in the correct orientation. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a really difficult time getting this off. Nintendo. There we go. There is a protective film above the Nintendo logo, so I'm gonna take that off now. But yeah, this looks legit. Okay, yeah, the film is kind of hard to get off. I'll use something pointier. Use a safety pin. There we go. And there we go. We are officially done with the entire build. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go ahead and show you some of the options we got. Let's turn it on. Let's look at the beautiful Game Boy Advance intro. Next time I'll maybe do the USB-C mod, because I can't really hear this properly. The speakers that come with the Game Boy Advance SP aren't the best, but once I get the USB-C mod done, I can connect any sort of USB-C headphones. So what I'll do now is I will play Super Mario Land while I show you guys the different display options. There you go, that's the original Game Boy Color intro. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and start and pause the game actually, just so we have a constant image to work with. Right now what you're seeing is just the default Mario game with its default colors. But what we can do is we can first adjust the brightness. There are, I think, 18 or 19 brightness levels, which is a lot better than the 2 brightness options on the base Game Boy Advance SP. I have, yeah. But now, what I can do is if I hold the button, this button only works because we soldered in that red wire. If I hold this button, I am going to get the OSD, the on-screen display, and I can change up my colors. This is how the original Game Boy looked with its DMG screen. But yeah, these are the color modes. I think we've already covered the brightness. Let's go over the pixel effects, actually. Oh, there are FRM, which is a sort of frame blending mode. It helps render out transparent pixels. If I don't have this on, it might look kind of weird because that's the sort of technology the original Game Boy used. So let's go over the pixel effects. So this is the normal effect, no pixel effects. What some people may think, some people may find this a bit too smooth. Some people like me find this a bit too smooth. So what we do is there are pixel effects that add in scan lines. So option number 2 is both vertical and horizontal scan lines. This is more in line with how the screen on the GBA SP looks, the original screen. Then you can choose to have only vertical scan lines. I don't know if my camera is doing really a lot of justice to these modes. I guess you can see vertical scan lines here. These are horizontal scan lines, option number 4, and this is no scan lines. So no scan lines, both horizontal and vertical scan lines, and horizontal scan lines. I really want to do a little comparison between my screen and the screen here, just to show you guys, you know, how different the modern LCD screens are from the original AGS-001 Game Boy screens. Here we go, Pokemon Emerald, the greatest game of all time. So yeah, I'm actually here with Reggie Rock. I don't know if you guys can see the screen. This is Reggie Rock. I'm gonna actually turn the front light off. That might actually be better. No, it is not. Yeah, I'm here in a cave with Reggie Rock. Just exit. And I'm back in the desert. There we go. Okay, so I think that's enough gameplay. You guys all get the gist. This intro just really makes me nostalgic. Emerald was one of the first games I've ever played. There we go. You can see Mr. Reggie Rock here in his cave. Let's get out. There we go. We're in the desert. Route 111. And we just got attacked by a Trapinch. Level 20 Trapinch. I send out my level 57 Ludicolo. I don't think you can escape a fight with a Trapinch because of its ability. I think it traps you. Yeah, there we go. Goodbye, Trapinch. Turn the brightness down. Yeah, seems less overexposed now. Just go ahead. There you go. This is how the screen looks. I think we can do a little side by side. But yeah, there we go. That's it. I'm gonna turn them on and we're just gonna take a look at the Game Boy logo. This goes on first. I'll zoom in. There you go, it says Game Boy. And then I'll turn on mine. There we go, it's a very stark difference. Very stark difference. Let me just turn the brightness off here. Yeah. There we go. Very different. The angle of the lighting here switches as well as you turn it around. You can see it kind of slants up. But yeah, this one's just like any smartphone that you can find. Yeah, I think that's it. Goodbye. Okay, yeah, so with everything being said, I am quite liking this build. I like how I can see everything. I like how I can see the red wire I soldered in, and the screen is just amazing. But yeah, this brings us to our original question. Does this look like the purple, the atomic purple Game Boy Color? Yeah, I think it does. Nice.